This is every Pokemon Happy Meal toy, and today we're gonna open up each and every one and put them in a tier list. Let's do it.
Alright, so the first line of Pokemon toys came out in 2011, which is really not that long ago for a series that's almost 30 years old and was massive in the 90s. So this line has 8 toys. The starters, you get Pikachu, the legendaries, Zorua, and Zoroark, I believe. I have not played Pokemon in the longest time. I picked it up in black and white, so it's fitting that we're starting with this generation, but I haven't played a Pokemon game since Sun and Moon, so I apologize if I don't remember a lot of their names. I'm gonna do my best here. So we're gonna start in order of the series because that's how I always do it. The first toy of the video will be Pikachu, number 1, 2011 black and white set. Let's see what he's all about here. Honestly, the wrapping's pretty good. I like that they actually gave his ears the proper protection. That's not too shabby to see. Oh, there's a switch. Okay, so there's a power switch, which I assume will make this button give him some kind of noise. Oh, his cheeks light up. Okay, that's pretty sick. It is a little weird that you have to hold the button to keep him on and it doesn't just press and flash or whatever, but no, that's a solid standard looking Pikachu toy. The light gimmick is decently cool. I think we've got a solid B tier to start things off with. Does that sound fair? I'm gonna put it there and we'll go from there. Oh, also, so each one, I believe all of the toys come with some kind of trading card. I'm not gonna be ranking those because that would take forever. Second one is Reshiram. I always got Pokemon White, so I never got him. Snivy in this pack. Other inserts, who really cares? This guy also very well protected with plastic. I like that. His wings come in a separate bag. That's an interesting choice. Yeah, something like that. Ooh, okay, so the wings actually move, so his arms have a little bit of articulation. That's kind of a nice little thing. His neck also turns, the tail spins, and the legs can kick. So this is a very articulate Reshiram. I do think this is a decently quality, pretty detailed, and nice little figurine. I would purchase this not in a Happy Meal, so I think that's a good sign. This one I'll put up in A tier. Toy number 3, we've got Oshawott, the best starter of the generation. Don't at me. Okay, so this guy has little legs that move with a spring. I don't know if it's picking up, but his legs are fully moving around there, and I think he's just supposed to hop around or just fall over. The Oshawott does look super cute, but the gimmick is kind of lackluster, so I'm gonna toss this in B tier alongside Pikachu. 4 is Zoroark, the wolf guy. Let's see what we got going here. The detail on this one looks pretty terrible, I'm not gonna lie. I like that his waist can fully twist, and he has movable arms, but no, the face is just not at all detailed. They did not try with this, so I don't like this one. There's no exciting gimmick, it's just that his waist turns, and it doesn't look that good. So how I'm judging these toys, because it's all objective, of course, I'm judging them by how fun they are to play with cool gimmicks and whatnot, and how cool they look to display on a shelf, because at the end of the day, that's where all of them are doomed to be. All that considered, this Zoroark is gonna go down in C tier, because it just looks kind of like poop. I don't know how they determine the order and why the starters are all spread out, but number 5 is Tepeg. He's actually the starter I picked the first time I played the game, back when I was super little, because I thought fire types were king because of Charizard. Looks like his back legs will fold forward and jump or something. There is an on-off switch on this, so already looking promising, and of course Sandile is the Pokemon card. Oh, I think his thing might light up. Okay, so it's on. Is that it? I think his gimmick is just that when you step down, it's supposed to make this little ball on his butt light up. Similar to the Pikachu in that sense. I don't think this one's working. I'm gonna put this probably down with Zoroark in C tier. Zekrom, my boy. So this is just a standard figure. It's actually pretty decent. He's got full arm rotation. His head doesn't move, but tail and arm rotation, that's got to be worth something. I don't think it's as good as the Reshiram because it has more articulation, but this looks just like him. For display purposes, it's great, and for action figure purposes, it does the job. Obviously, he has wings that are supposed to flap. His are just kind of attached to his arms, so B tier seems like a decent place for him. And then number 7, we've got Snivy. So he looks like he's gonna be running, like a little pullback racer. Don't make a liar of me, come on. It's not a pullback racer, so when you twist this, I guess, it just makes his head bobble and nod. Yeah, I'm gonna put him down in C tier. It's not great, it looks like him, but the gimmick's just kind of lame. And then finally we have Zorua, the first evolution of Zoroark. And then this guy looks like you just press in on his legs and he jumps. Yeah, so you should just be able to push this down, he'll chill for a sec. That did not move at all. Yeah, that is the lamest hop I've ever seen in my life. That's actually terrible. I do like how it looks a lot. That's pretty detailed. This one's probably on the same level as the Tepeg. I'm gonna put him in C tier again. So overall, I'd say that line is kind of mid-tier. We got 4 in the lower tiers and 4 in the higher tiers, so not a bad way to start. And then the next line we've got is the 2012 Black and White set, which has some of the starter evolutions and then some other new Pokemon from Gen 5. But starting with Pikachu, let's see what his gimmick is here. Looks like, I don't know what that is. I'm not even gonna try. No, actually, I think I've seen this with one of the Mario toys. I think you pinch and then he'll launch. Okay, we get the Pig Knight. That's his name. I'm glad I got this card. I'd have no idea. So, as you can see, Pikachu's got some beefy thighs. And you just put those right in this little pincher, pinch it down, and then he'll launch across the table. He doesn't have wheels or anything, so it's not gonna go crazy far. That almost fell off the table, actually. That's further than I thought. Not too shabby. The Pikachu looks very determined and angry, which I like. It's a good look for Pikachu, but this is gonna go another C tier. Now, I might be rearranging some of these as we continue and I get more context. It's kind of hard to rank the first couple toys, but this one is definitely gonna go with the other C tiers. I think that's fair to start. Dewott. This is my favorite middle evolution of the set. No question here. Let's see what we got. No instruction card here, so I don't think there's anything special. I think he just kind of, his head spins and his little shell arms spin. This is not a very ideal toy, but I love this Pokemon. It looks pretty on point. I'm gonna put this in B tier because of my personal bias toward the Pokemon, and we're gonna move on. Number 3, Woobat, which is already kind of coming out of the packaging. That's okay. You just click this button and his wings flap. So I don't know how this is possible, but this is probably the coolest gimmick I've seen so far because of just how lackluster the rest of them have been, but that's kind of neat. It looks just like a Woobat toy should. I don't want to put this up in A tier. I don't think it deserves that. I think B tier fits. 4 is Servine, so matching the card we just pulled. Okay, so it comes with a base to make it easier for him to stand, which I appreciate. I think this is just supposed to be for a display. It looks really good. I'm going to put it up in B tier with Dewott because they're pretty similar in that regard, that they don't play that well, but they look good. Axew, I don't remember the pronunciation, but it's something like that, something with an axe. I don't know why out of all the Pokemon in Gen 5 you'd pick him. To be honest, I'd probably have a couple other choices first. Okay, so he's got a little lever on the back, which turns his head. That's actually kind of sick. That might be the coolest gimmick. Okay, I'm gonna ask you, do you want to go up in S tier? No? How about A tier? For what it is, it looks dead on, and the gimmick is one of the better ones so far. So I'm gonna begrudgingly put him up in A tier. I think that's a good spot. And then the final toy of the set is the biggest one. Of course, we've got Emboar. Pig Knight. That's his name. His arms move and his tail spins. Nothing else. This is a standard action figure. No gimmicks. Nothing particularly bad about it. It looks just like him. I think to be fair to the other starters, this is on the same par as those, and is probably better to play with than the other two. So I think B tier will also fit Emboar pretty well. Boom, B tier. We're moving on. So the third set is the X and Y set from 2014. So these are all the exact same toy. They're a little Pokeball that I think like shoots a little chip out. So let's start with the yellow one because why not? What a start. Look at that Pikachu. That's actually clean. I love that artwork. There's 2 Pokeball launcher sets. I guess these launch differently. So I'm going to keep this card up here just so I don't f it up. How does this work? Oh, you set it on a table like this. The button doesn't do anything, which I thought it would, but this sides click and then it launches him out. So pinch, he snaps out, the Pokemon stands up, and then there's these symbols that you can set, so you can essentially play rock, paper, scissors with them. You get X, square, and circle. I don't know which one beats which. So yeah, that's a pretty cool gimmick. It makes sense with Pokemon battling. I always wanted to battle Pokemon when I was a kid, and this it wouldn't suffice, but it would be something cool. You know, it's a tangible thing. I prefer the physical Pokemon toys, but to be able to battle with something like this is definitely neat. Display-wise, it's not ideal. It's basically a printout in a plastic shell, but you do get a little Pokeball too. I think C tier works for these. It's not anything crazy revolutionary, but I'm gonna open the rest of these off camera and show you all the toys close up because these are all gonna be the exact same thing with varying Pokemon on them. So you can get a good look at these here and know that all the Pokeballs will be resting in C tier. And then the 4th series we have is the 2015 Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire toys, which are kind of the line I'm most hyped for because this is the generation that really piqued my love for Pokemon. I'm excited for a lot of these toys. Just gotta find number 1 here. It's probably, of course it's Pikachu. Of course it always is Pikachu. Let's hope for a cooler gimmick here. 2015 is kind of the peak of Happy Meal toys. 15 to 17 era was peak. Scan your toy, unlock a game. I'm not gonna do that, but I guess there was some kind of way to scan the toy on your iPad or something and you'd get some kind of game or mobile app to play with the Pikachu. That's kind of cool. Looks like it's a pullback racer that lights up. Or does it light up? It's showing little glitter and sparkles in the Pikachu's tail, but when I pull it back, it's not lighting up or anything. It doesn't look like there's a light in there. I don't know, this is honestly kind of lame. He's not even working as a pullback anymore. I think I broke it. I will say though, the Pikachu detail is way better than those other ones. I think this is about on par with the other C-tier Pikachu. They got the same pose, kind of squatting down. This one does look a little better, but at least that gimmick works. Number 2 is Primal Groudon. I always tend to pick the blue Pokemon games. I played Diamond, I played X, Sapphire, and then Pokemon Moon. So I'm not really the biggest fan of Groudon, but I will say Primal Groudon is sick looking, and this toy is no exception. This guy is actually super detailed. This is a figurine I would pay for outside of a Happy Meal, and then there's a little switch on his back, and when you pull it, he does like a screech. He leans up. That's super clean, super nice looking toy. The gimmick is simple but effective. I think this is our first S tier of the video. Maybe it's just because we don't have any S tiers yet and I want to get some, but I think that's a really high quality toy, and I'm optimistic for the series. Kyogre. This is my boy right here, and as you can see, this one's kind of open already, which is unfortunate. I could not find this guy for the longest time. Eventually found this by itself for $20. $20. It said it was brand new, and then it came in and the bag was open. So sorry I can't unbox this as a new toy, but eBay is gonna be eBay. I think this was worth it. Okay, I got my water here. It's just a little water gun. That's actually really sick. So let's see if he can just take a little sip. Should I be putting a toy that was open in my drinking water? Oh yeah. All right, so Kyogre takes a sip of the water. Nope. You gotta be kidding me. Hold his back. He sucks up the water. Doesn't go back very far. He's not gonna store a whole lot. I thought it was gonna like actually spray. It just missed it. Let's get it one more time so you can actually maybe see it. Oh yeah, you can see it, beautiful. That is without a doubt the coolest gimmick. Honestly, a phenomenal looking toy and an awesome gimmick, like I said. So it's going right up there next to Groudon in S tier. Toy number 4 is Lugia, which I don't know why there's a Lugia toy and not a Ho-Oh. But yeah, Lugia is looking pretty sick. I'm a big Lugia supporter, for sure. The wings are sick. I like that they kind of hug around something. His feet actually kick back out too, so if you want to stand him up, he can still stand and be used just like Groudon. So I think that it's only fair, since I put Groudon up in S tier, I gotta put him up there too. So Rayquaza. Alright, let's see here. So he has a bunch of articulation all over his body. You can spin this part of his tail, this part of his body, whatever, and then there's a little button on him, and it makes his mouth kind of chomp a little bit. That is the least amount of motion I've seen from a button press, but I do like that his snake body can kind of twist all over the place. That is the coolest articulation I've seen so far, and it looks just like Rayquaza. I love that that can stand up in that pose. That is actually sick. That's gonna put him up in S tier again. I'm loving this 2015 ORAS line. This has been great so far. Let's keep it going. Mega Latios. Finally, we get a projectile toy. That's actually super hype. So yeah, that's just gonna get shoved into his mouth, I guess, like that. But let's see how far this launches. I'm gonna put the arm out this way and just kind of... That's decently far. It doesn't feel like it packs much of a punch at all, which is probably what they were going for. They didn't want you shooting this at people's eyes. I almost just pressed that by accident and really f***ed myself up. But I am a sucker for really nice projectile toys. Right up there, another S tier, baby. Koopa. He's a legendary, but I don't think you could catch him in the game. I remember some GameStop cards had him, I think. Oh, this is like that 2017 Mario Odyssey toy where he threw the cap. Yeah, it looks like you're gonna have to rest this in his hand like that, and then twist and let go, and he'll kind of yeet it. It is cool that you can actually make him throw it. It does actually go pretty far, to my surprise. It works way better because his little hands actually grip the projectile a lot better, but it's not as cool as an actual like little gun thing like the Latios had. I don't want to put the entire line up in S tier, so that's probably why I'm not putting this one up there, but I think this is a very respectable A tier. And then the final toy, unfortunately, of this set, because this has been a hell of a time, we've got Wobbuffet. What looks like he just moves his arm up and down, I think. There's a little lever on the back, and he kind of... Oh, I didn't notice his mouth open. That's sick. Wah, wah. Add the sound effect, please. Wah. This is gonna go A tier because it looks just like Wobbuffet. I wish the mouth was open by default because that would look cooler for display. That's another A tier. So that Omega Ruby set was incredible. That's probably one of the better Happy Meal sets that I've seen. Definitely the best Pokemon one. So we're riding pretty high so far. Let's hope that the next set somehow manages to top that. The 2017 Pokemon Sun and Moon line, which again, like I said, were the last mainline games I fully got behind. So I'm hoping these are pretty sweet. Pikachu looks fired up. He looks pissed. I love that look for him. He's standing up like he was in that first set, which is always a bonus. I don't know what it's supposed to do. It's on. Yeah, it looks like his cheeks are supposed to illuminate an electricity like symbol onto a surface, but I just don't think it works, unfortunately, because it's only like 7 years old, which kind of sucks because this was new, so the longevity of these is not great. I'd expect better from a free toy with a meal. But no, yeah, the light's not working. If it did, it's kind of cool that it would actually project electricity like a real Pikachu would. Yeah, so the older toy's cheeks still light up and the newer one doesn't, so that kind of says how these have been downgraded over the years. But these are pretty much the exact same toys, so if I gave this one B tier, I think I've got to give this one the same. We've got Hoplio. Let's check this boy out. Actually, girl, aren't like 90% of them female? I don't know. Another water gun. So I guess it works that we have water conveniently stored right in this Pokeball. This one's also a lot easier to fit into a cup because it's a more narrow nose. Ready? Didn't go as far. The other one kind of misted the water, which I prefer to just a little straight. That's probably more functional as a water assault weapon. If this was the first one to do it, I'd be like S tier, S tier, S tier. Being the second one, I think I'm gonna give it S tier again because it still looks just like the Pokemon and the gimmick is sick, so I can't punish it because it wasn't the first to do it. Toy number 3 is Lunala, which was the legendary from the version I played. We got the wings that connect just like the Reshiram. Okay, there is a button. Come on, these all can't be dead. That'd be stupid. Looks like there's two kind of lights in the chest there, right there and there. But they're not doing anything, so I guess this whole set has a bunch of dead batteries, so that's probably why I got them for cheap. But this looks phenomenal for a Lunala toy. I wouldn't expect better from like a Jack-specific toy. Gimmick-wise, the light-up thing is cool, but it's not as cool as getting a real, you know, water gun or some kind of motion. So I'm gonna put this in A tier. I think that's a reasonable spot for him. Solgaleo is toy number 4. Yeah, so this whole series is dead batteries. You're supposed to pull his tail and it lights up. That's okay. It still looks like a really quality toy. I love the detail in it, especially. The only issue is that the tail is the only thing that moves on it. The legs don't even move. I'm feeling B tier because it looks good but isn't really a viable toy. Litten, my starter of the generation. I'm actually pretty excited. I see some accessories that I think are projectile. I'm hoping I'm not wrong on that. This one feels meaty. I feel like this is just gonna f***ing launch. It's gonna go in this side up. I'm hoping for like a satisfying click. That was exactly what I was hoping for. Okay. Do the same thing, the arm test. You ready? Ah, boo. Fire. That's a disappointing trajectory. If this got further, I'd probably put it up in S tier, but I'm gonna rest him in A, which I think is fair. Again, I love projectile toys, but that is just not exactly what I was hoping for. Rowlet, the final starter of the sets. Ooh, okay, so you're gonna wind this up. So you wind up this little thing on the side. Come on. Oh yeah, he's doing it. This is the only one that works in this whole set. Let's go. Come on, do it again. Hooray! Success! Pretty high quality. I think this is right up there with the Litten, if I'm being honest. I think A tier works pretty well for it. Grubbin, this little beetle grub thing. Just a standard pullback racer, I believe. Okay, so he has this little wheel that's crooked, so I think he's supposed to kind of run all sporadically, and I guess that's the whole gimmick. I mean, it's a standard Pokemon. They got the design spot on, but I don't know, I'm looking down at C tier. I think this is kind of a bummer, but it's okay. We have one more toy to bounce back with. Yungoos, this little ferret guy. This dude looks like Freddy Fazbear. Okay, it's not a pullback or anything. This is just a standard wheel that makes the mouth open and close. So I'll get a better angle for the video here, but essentially when he's rolling across the ground, he's slowly opening and closing his mouth like he's gonna eat something. Gets unique. But I think this is another A tier, to be honest. I love that his mouth opens. That thing looks scary as hell. Again, another pretty solid series, kind of a step back from the Omega Ruby one, but that'd be a tough one to top. But I'm still optimistic for the 6th set. The Legendaries from 2018. Okay, so here's all the Legends toys. These look pretty promising. So toy number 1 is Latios, the red version of Latios. There's no pullback to it. It's literally just wheels on the bottom. That's actually pretty big letdown. Looks like a Happy Meal toy should, not anything special. I find it hard to put a toy in F tier because I feel like none of them are really that bad. But this I just don't see a point to. I think I'm comfortable doing that. Yeah, this Latios is an F tier. A bad start to this series. We've got Latios as Pokemon number 2. But yeah, this is another one where you just roll it around and it falls a lot because it's off balance. This is another F tier Happy Meal toy. Was hoping this series would start off better, but we still have some time. Let's keep it moving. Toy number 3 is Reshiram. This looks like the exact same one as the black and white set. Hopefully looks are deceiving. So this one actually has a button on the back of it to make the wings flap, which I don't believe the other one had. Yeah, so the original toy, the way you can tell the difference, this just has a screw here. There's no button to make the wings move. You got to do that yourself. And then this updated, revised version has a button to flap the wings. So it's slightly better, but not like a tier jumping upgrade. So I'm just going to kind of push him in front of the other one. Zekrom. This guy's just the same one as before, but with a button that makes the arms move. So if I didn't move the Reshiram up for that little upgrade, I cannot move the Zekrom up. So he's gonna go in front of this one as another B tier, and I just knocked over Oshawott. Sorry, buddy. Tornadus, not Thundurus. It's got a chip. I think we've got a projectile launcher. This chip's actually like really solid plastic. This will probably hurt more than the other ones if it launches far enough. Arm test, right? That just went nowhere. That's worse than the Litten. Decently quality toy. It's not anything crazy. Probably B tier. I think this is a mid-tier toy. I love projectiles, but this just doesn't do enough for me. Okay, I think I opened those out of order. Toy number 5 is Thundurus. I think toy 6 was Tornadus. All right, so the shtick to this Thundurus is that when you smack him, I don't know if you can hear this, it rattles some shit. It makes it sound like thunder. So, I mean, that's cool. Promoting violence is always something I support. This is going to be another B tier. It looks the exact same as the Tornadus and has a similarly lackluster but functional gimmick, so B. Palkia. I remember this guy mostly from Smash Bros. Ruining any match that he gets spawned in, especially when it's your Pokeball. It blows. Palkia is actually really detailed, and just like the other ones, he has a button on him, and these actually like close those pinchers in the back. His arms don't move at all. Yeah, his arms don't move. This is probably the same caliber as the Zekrom. I think B tier works. Dialga. Okay, so this is basically the same gimmick as the Palkia had. This time it's not a stupid button on it, it's actually his tail that makes him headbutt. So when you pull that down, he just headbutts forward. It looks about as good as the Palkia. I like the motion a little bit more because it's integrated with his actual body. So I think that's enough to move it up to A tier. Maybe I'm just being nice because the rest of that series was kind of booty, but there's still hope because the last line of toys, actually there's no hope because this last line is another set of the Pokemon Battle Shooters. These ones came out in 2019, and this is what I thought the other ones were gonna be when I thought they kind of shot the Pokemon out. I'll get a close-up of all the specific Pokemon, but I'm just gonna open one of them because there's no sense in doing it for all 8. It's pretty much the same thing. We'll take a peek at this one. This is, number 1 is Pikachu because it always is Pikachu. So yeah, as you can see, there's a square, and then you turn this, it goes to X and circle. So you kind of pick either rock, paper, scissors, essentially. You load it up into your Pokeball launcher. So you kind of put that right on your belt, and then you can cover it right up with your shirt, so you look like a, that kind of shows, but look like a normal functioning member of society, you know, and then all of a sudden someone challenges you, right, and you're ready, you're just like, you do that really fast, especially when there's officers around, you go, here's my... Yeah, standard game of rock, paper, scissors. I like this a lot better because of the portability of it, because you can actually clip it to your pants and feel like a true Pokemon trainer. Every kid dreamed of having real-life Pokemon, and this feels more like it. B tier for that. And here's a shot of all 12 toys out of the packaging. I'm not going to open them all here, like I said, because it's just not worth it. They're all basically the same thing with different decals on them. But that's the 2019 set. Overall, I think it's pretty solid, better than those originals. And that is all the physical Pokemon toys. But I did buy a set of last year's Pokemon cards that came in Happy Meals. Actually, a ton of them. These go alongside Scarlet and Violet. I'll just open a couple of these to show you what they're all about, but there's a lot of Happy Meal card lines that didn't come with toys. I didn't want to include those because it got really complicated and expensive, so I didn't really want to waste money on things that I didn't think were as cool as physical toys. So you get 4 additional game cards per Happy Meal. If I was still a Pokemon collector, I would be begging my parents for Happy Meals when these toys were coming out. I don't even know who these are anymore. I got Satitan, Seclizar, Flittle, and Kilowattrell. Are you f***ing serious right now? This is just corny as hell. Looks like there's actually a decent way to battle people in here somewhere, so that's actually kind of cool. I like that it incorporates that and isn't just a standard card pack like I thought it was. I'm not going to put these into the tiers because it's a separate thing. I just wanted to give you a little taste of the card side of Happy Meal toys, but the main focus of this video is, of course, the toys.
And here's their final rankings. S tier, not as populated as I thought, and really not as strong as the S tier lineup in the Mario series, but that's okay. A tier definitely has a lot of really cool toys, mostly either a decent gimmick or a really nice design. And then B tier is where we start to get some of the ones that are, you know, decent. They look okay, just some Pokemon that I like. But C tier, if I got one of these back in the day, I'd probably still be pretty happy, to be honest. I was desperate for any kind of video game merchandise, but not really my favorite. And then down in F tier, we've got Latios and Latios, because they're not even pullback racers, and they don't display that well because they're so flat. And if you disagree with me on any of these rankings, please leave your thoughts down in the comments. And if you have any personal stories or nostalgia for these, definitely let me know as well, because I didn't really grow up with these toys. I don't have any kind of personal connection to them. I do love this series, but I never really got Happy Meals, so I'm not too familiar. I'd love to hear some of your stories, but if you like videos like these, please leave this one a like, and if you want to watch more, I have a Mario Happy Meal ranking video that will be on screen now, so definitely check that out, and have a fantastic rest of your day. I will see you in the next video.